Good morning, FlossTube, or good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you get around to watching my update. My name is Robin. This is my channel, Lady Robins, and this is a channel all about cross-stitching, which is my favorite hobby. So welcome. I am happy that you are all here. If you're a returning friend and subscriber, thank you for coming back. And if you're brand new to my channel, thank you for tuning in and seeing what I'm up to. It will be about stitching. All right, you guys, I am here on, what day is it? It is the 25th of July. I've had lots of time to do some stitching. I've attended the Midsummer Stitch virtual retreat. I've had a few purchases and I've been doing some reading. So we have lots of things to talk about today. Grab your beverage. I've got mine. Nothing interesting in the mug today. Today's mug is Seattle, which is where I'm at. I'm a little suburb just south of Seattle, but Seattle will do. And I got hot water. It is a very cloudy day, but I think the clouds will burn off here shortly. So I've already had my first cup of coffee and I thought, okay, that's enough caffeine. You know, I've only been up for 3 hours, so let's just ease into the day. So welcome, grab your stitching and let's just have a little chat about cross stitch. So I'm gonna have some water. Okay, perfect. All right, so I mentioned that I attended, what was the last Friday and Saturday, the Midsummer Stitch virtual retreat put on by Stephanie of Lindy Stitches. It was wonderful. I wasn't able to attend the entire thing, which I knew in advance when I bought my ticket, but I figured I'd join in where I could. I had a really nice time. I think my favorite part of the event was what was it? The crafting, the jar toppers with Robin Pickens. I've really become a fan of her stitching and also her latest fabric line. It's, you know, it's a sea themed fabric line. It rings all the bells for me. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I also enjoyed the speed dating, and that's where you get on and you have a little 5-minute conversation with a fellow stitcher, and then you move on to the next person and have another 5-minute conversation with the stitcher. I met just really, really nice, wonderful people. So if you're following me now, having met me on the speed dating, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. I did meet, of the people that I speed dated with, I met 3 FlossTubers, and so I thought I would just do a quick shout out to them. The very first speed date I went on was with Ruth, and her FlossTube channel is called SewFullyMe, SewFullyMe, and she's got, I've got her up on my computer screen here. She has 8 videos. Ruth was lovely. I've been able to watch only half an episode. I've been a little busy this week, but that's okay. I've enjoyed what I've seen of Ruth, and I think you would like her too. So please go and check out her channel, SewFullyMe, and I will do my absolute darndest to put these FlossTubers in the drop-down description box below so you can find them also. The next one I met was a lovely gal. She's in China and she has a hairless cat, and so the cat was on the date with us. It was super cute. She has just wonderful things as well. Her name is Anastasia Meng, M-E-N-G, and so I thoroughly enjoyed meeting Anastasia and seeing her adorable cat. And I don't have her up on my screen, so I can't tell you how many videos she's done, but she's done a few. So if you would like to follow somebody in China follow Anastasia. She was just lovely. And then the third floss tuber that I met was Andrew, the running stitcher, and he's just delightful. And I've seen a few of his videos before. He stitches quite a few mirabilias, and I'm not a mirabilia stitcher, and so I'm in awe of all of you mirabilia stitchers. You are far more adventurous than I am. I think I could do the cross stitching, but I'm not a fan of Kreinik, and I feel like I'm a super slow beater. So I think if I ever did a mirabilia, it would take me until the end of my days to complete one. And that you guys do multiples is just amazing. So anyway, watch Andrew, the running stitcher. He's a lot of fun. We had a great visit as well. And to all the other folks that I met that aren't floss tubers, I thoroughly enjoyed meeting all of you. And I hope that came across when I talked to you. So that was fun. Stephanie had a hysterical little yoga stretching video, which is actually up on her YouTube channel. So if you need a good little 10-minute yoga stretch, go watch that. Even though it's super funny, it's very Stephanie, her sense of humor shines through. It's actually some good stretching. I kind of followed along and I'm like, she is way more advanced than I am on that whole thing, but it was wonderful. So that was great. I wasn't able to get in on any of the stitching tables with the floss tubers, so I was sad to miss out on that a little bit, but it just didn't fit with my schedule. So there you have it. I would definitely say, if you have the opportunity to attend one of these virtual retreats, go for it. Go for it. The Jingle Ball will be coming up in December before we know it. So anyway, it'll be just great to see some of you on one of those virtual retreats in the future. So that was fun. That was my little recap of a Midsummer stitch. I pulled out my book of days because I do try to keep track of my stitching and all that sort of stuff. And so I thought, why don't we head into whips next? You guys, I just realized I had a finish. Which I just noticed in my book of days. I finished the stocking, the 12 days of Christmas. I finished 8 Maids of Milking. And I don't know where it's at, so I'll try to remember to show it to you next time. But I did have a finish. Do you have a second? I'm just gonna see if the bag is right behind me. I think it might be. Oh yeah. It is here. Oh good, it's here. I can show you my finish. So I finished, yay, I'm so happy. I finished number 8, 8 Maids of Milking, and there it is. Can you see that? And there is beading on there, which I'm not the best at. And anyway, it is what it is. So there's 8 Maids of Milking. That's in the series, The 12 Days of Christmas by Annie Beez. When I know I've told you this before, I did it as a monthly subscription, and now it's all 12 are in a book. So if you're at all interested in those, I would say pick it up. It is a fun stitch, and each stocking doesn't take that long to complete, even for me. So there's my finish. There's my one little finish. And I will be moving on to number 9 here at some point in the next week or so. Well, maybe in the next 2 weeks, because I've got a couple of things I want to finish by the end of the month, but we'll talk about that in plans. Okay, so besides my FO, my finished object, what else have I been stitching on? Well, I was able to get together with my girlfriend Lynn, and we had our Jeannette Douglas stitching day. And so I am stitching on some, what is it? God garden box. I almost said summer box. I knew that wasn't right. Garden box. There it is. So I finished this big one, and then I decided to start on this little guy. I got good progress on that. So I'm way over halfway done on that one. So there's the finish, and I'm just going to do it all on the same piece of fabric. This is nothing fancy. This is 32 count vintage country mocha. And if I had the fancy floss in my stash, I used it. And if not, I just used the DMC substitution that Jeannette puts on the chart. And so I've just been having a really good time working on the garden box. Yeah, and there's a little wool pack that gets you all these bits. And last time I said, okay, I'll make sure I pull it out and I will show it to you. I stumbled across it here in the craft room, and now I've lost it again. I was gonna put it in the bag, and then things happened in here this last 2 weeks. I just got a wild hair that I've got too much stuff. I've kind of been working, you know, a little bit on figuring out how to make the craft room function better for me. Because when I come in here, if there's too much stuff around, you know, kind of that visual clutter, I get a little stressed out. And then I can't, you know, do anything. So I'll pick a project and I'll just, you know, run out of the room, because then I'll go stitch in the living room, which is way less filled with stuff. So anyway, I've been working in here. I don't know if you noticed, but back behind me, I'll go pull those closer. I've hung up 4 cross stitch pieces behind me, so I'm working on that. I want to see my stitching in here, but also out in my house. So yeah, a few little organizational changes here. So anyway, that was my Jeannette Douglas garden box, and I did have somebody reach out. Excuse me while I grab it. Reach out to me and wonder where I got my box. And here's the box. So this is where, you know, where all the little, you know, bits and pieces will go. And I bought it from, I don't know if you can see that. I bought it off of Artsy, and the shop is, I probably better spell it to you. Is it Cabran Mary Woods, CABRANMARY Woods. So I bought it from them, and this is the box that Jeannette Douglas actually calls out on a number of her patterns. So if you do more than one of her boxes, you can swap them out seasonally. So anyway, there's my box, and I'm very happy to have that. And then the bits will go in there, and then it'll be a nice display piece out in my house. So there's Jeannette Douglas, worked on that. I also got a little time in on Beach Rat. So let me show you the cutie patootie beach rat, and get my pattern out of my bag. So this is by the Artsy Housewife, the beach rat. She does give you the choice of two designs, either with the words or without the words. I'm working on the words. So I am doing this again on Vintage Country Mocha 32 count, and I'm doing it 2/2, and I'm using the called for flosses. She has a combination of some overdyes and some DMCs, and luckily I had the exact called for in my stash, so no substitutions. So I've almost got beach done. I just have to get that H, and then I'm going to move on to the part of the, I think I'll work on some of these leaves, and then I'll start working on that glorious seagull. He's really cute. I just love this. I just think Gigi's patterns are amazing, and you know, I'm going to finish this one, and I don't know what the next Artsy Housewife pattern is that I will do, but there will definitely be more, because I thoroughly enjoy her patterns, her sense of humor. shines through. If you haven't watched her floss tubes, you guys, you are missing out. Go find the Artsy Housewife. Her and her husband are on there together. They're just wonderful. They just, you know, they hit all the right notes for me. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm a big fan. big fan. So that's my progress on Beach Rat. I think when I picked this up, I might have been like partially way through the E. So I finished the E, finished the A, and finished the C. So lots of good stitchy progress there. And that's a super, you know, satisfying stitch, because especially when you're stitching those letters, you know, you're not doing any color changes. So that stitches up really, really easily. And again, you know, it's always satisfying to, you know, go, oh, look, I got the A done. So that was just, you know, that's just a lot of fun for me. The next thing that I stitched on was by the Stitching Book Club. Oh my gosh, you guys, this was released so long ago. I'm so pokey, but all stitching is good stitching, right? It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get to it. So I am stitching Little Women, and I am just barely, you know, gonna start that big house. So I've got almost one of the trees done on the side. I've got, of course, the top done with Little Women and their inkwell. And so I'm just filling in the darker interior of the tree. Then of course I'll get the little trunk, and then I'll move over into that big house, and then, you know, the tree on the other side. So I'm having a great time working on this. I'm stitching this on, what is this? It's ivory 28 count Joblin, and you know, that's easy to stitch on. The floss just glides right through that that Joblin. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a finish on that at some point in the future, and then I'll hang that here in the craft room. I was thinking it would be fun to have kind of, you know, book themed stitching up here on the walls in my craft room. You know, my second love, reading right after cross stitch. So anyway, there we are, doing a little Louisa May Alcott, right? I'm holding off on a big one. Cardinal points. I'll show you that next, because I've got lots of progress on that. And then I gave myself a start. I have started the Monster House Sal by Satsuma Street. So I'm, you know, down here. I bought the the PDF, and of course, you know, it's being released in parts. And I thought, I don't know if I'm even going to start this right now. But then I kind of got a wild hair, and I'm like, well, I don't have the fabric, and it's been a while since I've been to Threadneedle Street, my local L&S, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just go down there and I'll just buy the fabric. And then I'm like, well, before I go, maybe I should make sure I have all the floss. And before you know it, I'd pulled the floss. I was on my way to Threadneedle Street to get the fabric, and then I had to start, because you guys, look at this ring of flosses. You guys, look at that. Those colors are glorious. And I'm like, well, now that I've got them all on the ring, now I have to start it. So I did. I gave myself a start on Monster House. And so here I am. I'm way behind. The next part is being released tomorrow. Chances are slim that I will catch up. But I'm just going to keep going. I think those two cats are hysterical. I love, love, love them. And that's where I'm at on Monster House Sal, but I am thoroughly digging it. I've said it before, I will say it again. Jody Rice is a wizard with colors. I mean, can you even believe how many DMCs that is? for one piece. That's why her stuff is so fantastic. She doesn't limit herself to 12 colors. She's like, if I need 32, we're going with 32. And I do not know that this is 32. I'm just, you know, pulling a number off the top of the noggin. But anyway, I was just like, oh yeah, I got to start that. So the other thing, in case you're wondering, I went with Jody's called for fabric. So this is 28 count natural, and it's looking good. It's looking good. I'm just getting such a kick out of stitching this. And then I've seen some folks that have made a couple of modifications, like this little, I don't know if he's a, you know, a butler. I'm assuming he's a butler. It looks like a little martini there. I've seen somebody that's put a little pick in the olive, and I don't know why, but I think that is genius. I've seen somebody online that used a green bead for the olive. And then the other thing that I saw is a finish where the white parts are stitched in glow in the dark floss, which I also think is brilliant. And so I scurried down to Michael's yesterday and I got my DMC E940, which is glow in the dark white. And so I'm also going to have my cute little butler glow in the dark. I think that's really, really spectacularly brilliant. So, you know, copy, right? So there you have it. That is, that's my start on Monster House Sal, and I'll just have to, you know, stitch like the wind to catch up, because the next piece looks like it's just a little bit bigger. So gotta keep myself on track. Okay, so are you ready? Cardinal points. I told you that I would really like to have this finished by the end of August. And I was giving myself a little bit of a push because our fair has you submit things by the 15th of August for a fair entry. So I'm even trying to see if I can get close to a fair entry on Cardinal points. If I don't make it, it'll definitely go in next year, because I think the rules say it has to have been stitched within the last 2 years. So there we go. Okay, so there's the chart. There's Cardinal points, which I have showed to you over and over and over and over and over again. And here's where I'm at. So this is stitched on nothing fancy. This is just, I think it's antique white, 32 count Lugana. It's a Lugana. Okay, so here we are. So there's the whole thing. And then what I have been working on is down here. I'll bring that in closer for you. So I've been working over here. So I worked on that urn and the flowers. And so I think I got the entire urn and these two flowers and these vines or branches, I guess, all done. And I think maybe even this little guy. Yeah. So I just have, according to the pattern, I still have 3 more flowers for the urn, plus the grapes, and then 2 more flowers down here, you know, on the edge. So that's a lot of stitching. Plus, I still have 3 of the, are they dragonflies? I think they're dragonflies. I still have 3 dragonflies to go. So there's a lot of stitching. I'm not sure I'm gonna make it to the fair this year, but I'm still gonna work towards it. So if I don't make it to the fair, I still would really love to have this finished by the end of August. And if that happens, then that'll be off my plate, and then I'm gonna move on to focusing on Huckleberry Farm. So that's my other big one. And yeah, so there we are. I'm like I say, I'm making progress. I feel like I've made really good progress on the last 2 weeks working on that. And, you know, I'm just having fun with my stitching. So that's, you know, that's what it's all about. I do have another 2 planned new starts, which is great, which is crazy because I like it when I don't have too many whips hanging around, but yeah, there's a couple of things that have just called to me that are recent releases and I just can't not, right? Okay, so one of them was out of the latest Just Cross Stitch Halloween magazine. I want to stitch this owl so doggone bad I can't hardly stand it. I think that is just brilliant. So I was mentioning this on a Zoom call, and I was talking to Jeannette, who's the owner of Acorns and Threads, and wondering if she had anything even close to that color fabric. And my lovely friend Anna, who is Stitch Roadies, and if you're not watching Anna, you should be, because Anna's delightful. Jeannette wasn't sure she had something quite that color, so Anna reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've got a you know, a piece of fabric that I don't know if it'll work for you, but she cut it. She said, I got a big piece. I'll cut it in half," and she sent it to me. So this is what Anna sent me. Isn't that a good friend? Friend in need, right? She just reached straight out to me and said, "Hey, let me pop this in the mail and send it your way." So I think that might work. So thank you, Anna. So I can start that amazing owl. I just love that guy. So that is one of my planned starts here in the next little bit. And then the other thing, I haven't purchased it yet, but I want to purchase and start the, what is it? Hygge Holiday by Kathy Haberman of Hands On Design. Have you seen that? Gorgeousness, gorgeous. I watched her FlossTube where she was talking about the piece, and I liked it when I first saw it, but when she started talking about it, it has 4 colorways in it. How brilliant is that? It was like she just kept designing. She's like, well, you know, what about people that want, you know, a red and green, a traditional holiday color? So she designed that, and I mean, she just went above and beyond with this chart. It is amazing, you guys. Hygge Holiday, I'm pretty sure, is the name of it. And so that's the next one I have got to purchase and start. And same thing on that. It's, you know, it's a very accessible, you know, fabric and color palette. I think it only has, did you say 4 colors in it? Yeah. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? And so I picked up 32 count antique white. That's what she stitched it on. I'm like, I'm just doing what Kathy did because it looks fabulous, and why do I need to change it? Because I like exactly what's on the chart. So I picked, that was the other thing that I picked up at Threadneedle Street. And I do have another purchase, and Pete's Bee Skeps. Are you following Pete and Kathy's FlossTube and Pete's Etsy shop? Yeah, so this has 5 holes, so you could put 5 little scissors in it, which I've got scissors, and it's the right dimension for a finish for a tiny town. And I have purchased every tiny town chart that has been released. I have stitched a goose egg. I have stitched none of them. And I think, okay, if I buy the finishing spool, I have to start it. So maybe I have 3 planned starts coming up here soon. So yeah, I just adore this. Thank you, Pete. This is beautiful. This is cherry. This was cherry. And then for whatever reason, they slipped another little spool that's got 1 little hole on it into my box. as just like, you know, a bonus gift. So I've got a second little spool. I couldn't be happier with these things. You guys, they are so smooth. They are so smooth. There is not a burr on this thing. It is just glorious. So if you need something to finish a tiny town on, go get this. Go get this from Pete's Bee Skeps. He's a master. He's a master. Okay, so what else do we need to talk about? How about books? We haven't talked about books in a long time. So I'm reading two things right now. One is for my book club, and I've got it only halfway through. Halfway. I am reading The Year of Living Constitutionally by A.J. Jacobs. I might have talked about this in my last FlossTube. Anyway, this guy's a nut. But it's also in a good way. It's making you think about the Constitution and the, you know, original intent of our forefathers, and how even though they all agreed on this stuff in the Constitution, the interpretation, even back then, was not uniformly agreed on. And so it's a great read. He talks about a number of books that he's reading as he's doing his year-long exploration of living constitutionally. And so there's a number of other books about the Constitution that I would like to read when I'm done with this. So anyway, there's an awesome nonfiction book with quite a bit of humor in it. So it's a pretty entertaining read. And then I started The Women by Kristen Hannah, and I got to finish the book club book so I can get on to this one because I think I'm like 4 chapters in, and yeah, I mean, it hooks you, but I got to finish the book club book, so I can't get back to this. I'm not really actively reading this, but it's the next thing up to finish. So that's what I'm reading right now. Let me know what you're reading. What things have you found this summer? So as you know, I'm just going to transition into plans and then life. Now that I'm retired, I'm finding all sorts of just peace in my life. I have a little more space and breath in my day, and it feels like I have made the right choice. And everybody says that once you retire, you'll find that it's absolutely fabulous and you'll be fine. And I'm finding that as well. So retirement and I are doing well together. So in terms of like stitching plans, I still have my my monthly magazine challenge, and I only have one thing left to do this month, and I need to stitch on Harbor Haven. I've put down 300 stitches. I've finished all the others. So I need to bust out Harbor Haven and get 300 stitches in on that, and then I will have completed my July magazine monthly challenge, which is fantastic because I was a complete bomb at June. So it feels good to be back on the wagon on that guy. And then my Whipco board, I don't know if I've talked about this, but for July, the numbers were 6 and 23. Number 6 is inventory one of my magazine file boxes, which is how I store my patterns. I store them alphabetical by designer, which probably surprises nobody. Alphabetical, that's the way it is in the library, right? It's going to be the way it is in my house. So anyway, I've done that, and I found a few things that, while I love them, I know I'm never going to get around to stitching them. So I've pulled them aside, and we might have some giveaways later on. I might take them to Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit and put them on the giveaway table. I haven't quite decided. And then the other thing that was called was number 23, which is Stitch on a Club Kit. And I haven't done that yet. So To finish WIPGO, I've got a Stitch on a Club kit. To finish Magazine Monthly Challenge, I need to stitch on Harbor Haven. So that's definitely part of my plans. Then of course, just keep rocking and rolling on Cardinal points. Keep working on Monster House because I don't want to get too far behind on that Sal, because it's kind of fun to feel like, oh, you know, I'm actually doing the Sal. A lot of times I'll buy the Sal and then eventually I'll start it, and then it's not quite as motivating to do it after everybody else is finished, right? So it's been fun on Monster House because I'm seeing people's finishes, and you know, it's showing me other things that maybe I would like to do, like stitch the skeleton butler in glow-in-the-dark fabric. So that's kind of the plans. And then maybe start one of the 3 things that I mentioned. We'll see. We'll see. All right. What else do I need to tell you? Oh, I was going to tell you, I am bopping all over the place with this retirement thing. I mean, eventually I'm going to calm down about the fact that I have weekends off, but I went over to Leavenworth with my sister and brother-in-law. They have a condo there in Leavenworth, and they said, hey, what are you doing? You're retired. Are you not, you got anything on your calendar? I'm like, I don't think so. Talked to my husband. I'm like, do we have anything going on? He's like, nope. Plus, 4 days before I went over to Leavenworth, my husband got COVID. So I had not caught the COVID. And so it was actually nice to get out of the house and not be around the poor guy that's coughing from COVID. So I spent 3.5 days over in Leavenworth, and I was able to stitch. I went to a couple of little wineries. I had a cider flight, which was delicious. We had apple, black currant, peach, cherry, and spiced cranberry. Oh my gosh, so yummy. That was fun. So next weekend, you know, again, in honor of the fact that I'm not working weekends, I have got tickets to go sail on the great big ship, the Lady Washington, which was in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, that, you know, that great big huge boat that Johnny Depp was all over. I will walk where Johnny Depp walked. Won't that be fun? So it's only a 2-hour excursion, but it's right up my alley, right? I love water, I love boats, so yep, I'm gonna go do that next weekend. So that will be super fun. And that's it for me. That's where I'm at. I'm, like I said, I'm reveling in having weekends off, and I'm getting a little more time for stitching, but also, you know, more time for being with family and friends. So I hope that you are having a fantastic week. I hope your stitching and your life is going well. And if it isn't, I hope you're able to find some way to, you know, give yourself a little respite and a little peace. All right. Have a great couple of weeks. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Stitch happy, my friends, and yep, enjoy life. Okay, bye. Hi friends, I realized I forgot to show you the cross stitch on my wall, so let me just turn the camera around so you can see what I'm seeing. Let's see. There we go. There is old prairie schoolers. And you see those? And then we've got Plant Kindness. And this is another Stitching Book Club piece. Yeah. So I forgot to show you those in the video, and I just wanted to come on here and, you know, do what I said I was going to do. And then I've got a second video I'm going to insert after this one, because I had a little friend join me while I was in my backyard stitching on my porch. Okay, bye guys.